What's going on, guys? It's Tommy, and I'm coming at you with an action figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Hasbro the Black Series Grand Admiral Thrawn from the Ahsoka series. If you didn't know, I'm a huge Grand Admiral Thrawn fan. He's one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise, and to see him make his live-action debut in the Ahsoka series was a dream come true for me. The choice to make Lars Mikkelsen, the voice actor from the Rebels series, the actor for the Thrawn Ahsoka, was just a perfect choice in my opinion, and it was awesome to see him in the show, and to get a figure for him on my Ahsoka display is awesome. This figure was a mainline release for the Black Series in 2024. I did pick this up through a pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store, threw it into my pile of loot. I highly recommend checking out Big Bad. They have great service, and their pile of loot feature is really something special. Definitely go check them out. This is the standard packaging for the Black Series right now. You have the logo up at the top for the line. In the vertical lettering, you do have the character's name as well as the number 12 in the Ahsoka series line. Down here you have the name of the series in this nice pale blue. Down here you got your Hasbro logo and some of your warnings. On the side of the box here you do have your mural art. This shows you Grand Admiral Thrawn. You can see the Eye of Sion in the back there. He looks absolutely amazing. On the back of the box here you have that same mural image we saw on the side of the box blown up a bit. You have your Black Series logo, the name of the character, and a bio in about 1,000 different languages. This bio reads, "The last unaccounted for Grand Admiral of the Imperial Navy, Thrawn is a brilliant military commander. Should he return to the galaxy, he has the potential to plunge the New Republic into war once again." And again, just reiterating, he is number 12 for the Ahsoka line. You have all your legalese down here. Don't feed this action figure to your babies. On this side, you have another Black Series logo. On the bottom here, even more legalese and nothing on the top. That is what you get for the packaging for the Black Series nowadays. Let's get this figure opened and we'll check him out. Alright, here's Thrawn out of the box. Before we check him out, let's check out the one accessory he comes with, that being his standard Imperial Navy issue blaster pistol here. This is done in a black sculpt. I'm not seeing any paint applications on this whatsoever, but that's to be expected with most accessories in the Black Series nowadays. Maybe at the front there's a little bit of kind of paint, like a glossiness up here towards the barrel. It's kind of hard to tell just from the lighting I have right now, but there might be a little bit of paint there. But aside from that, it's about what you can expect. Sculpt work is nice, but no painted or weathering detail. And here we have Grand Admiral Thrawn. The first thing I want to point out is just how well the face is done here. This definitely gives Lars Mikkelsen to me. Obviously, this is a little bit less accurate than what Hot Toys has. And if you want to check out my Hot Toys review for this guy, you definitely can. But I think the face still shows Grand Admiral Thrawn as, you know, the Lars Mikkelsen appearance for him. I think they've done a good job painting in the eyes. If you look really closely, you can see some really good eye detail there. And he's got a good solid expression there, a little bit of like a grimace on his face. It looks good. They've gone ahead and painted the little silver pieces at the collar here. The rank plaque looks great here. You got all the nice blues, orange, and reds there. He does have all 4 of his code cylinders painted as well, which is nice, and I like the choice of the shade of gold they've gone with for his just the extra ranking for that Grand Admiral rank. It looks good. And then down here on this kind of overlay piece, which makes up the bottom of the tunic, they've done a good job of painting the classic iconic Imperial buckle. Aside from that though, the belt itself is just black, and you have sculpted into the bottom of the tunic, they've painted the holster for his blaster pistol. Aside from that, you're not really getting much in the form of paint applications, and again, that's to be expected. This is a very plain design. It's a very simple design for the Imperial Navy, and it's about what you can expect from it. One thing I do want to point out too is I really like that they've gone with a gesture hand, I guess, more of an open idle hand on this left hand here. I think this is a great choice, and I think they should definitely do this going forward more often. I do appreciate when it's more than just kind of the Lego no C-grip hand in that offhand there, just because, again, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's not going to be handling a whole ton of accessories, and I think it's nice that they give these more natural-looking hands on some of these newer figures. All right, let's cover some articulation for the Grand Admiral here. He's got a double ball-jointed neck, which is going to give you some good range in any direction. He can look down just a bit. He can look up quite a bit as well, which is awesome. He's got some good tilt on that head, and he can look right and left. Now, checking out the torso here, this looks like an older torso, so you're actually not gonna have any butterfly joints that are hidden under there. This is a hinge and swivel system, so you're gonna have a hinge that goes up to about 90 degrees, and then this is going to be able to swivel a full 360 degrees. Down here, you got some deep cut single jointed elbows, which can get you past that 90-degree mark in that bend. They do have a swivel at the top of the elbow as well. And then down here at the wrists, he's got a vertical hinge at the right wrist, and then on that idle hand on the left wrist, he does have a horizontal hinge. He's got a ball joint here at the midsection, which is going to have some decent range, and then the bottom of the tunic is going to be a rubbery overlay piece, like I mentioned earlier. It's also got some nice cuts on the sides here to help you get a little bit more articulation out of those legs, because you do have a ball joint which is hiding under there, and the tunic does do a good job of moving out of the way so it doesn't hinder the range of that ball joint. They did omit the cut for the thigh swivel on this figure. They did change up the hip joints so you can get a little bit of a swivel too with that thigh there. Down here at the knees, you get a deep cut single joints. Those will bend to about 90 degrees, and they do have a swivel at the top of the knee as well. And then finally down here at the ankles, you have a forward facing pin for rocker and a hinge, which is going to get you just a little bit of forward, if any, and it's going to of course get you plenty of back, as many Black Series figures do. This is pretty standard articulation. I actually would even go as far as to say this might be a little subpar for 2024, just because of the reuse up at the torso here. You do have a lack of butterfly joints, the shoulders, and just some of the articulation isn't, you know, up to date with how available the range is to the figure. But again, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's not an acrobatic character. He's not going to be flipping and flying all over the place like a Jedi. So for me, it's an easy pass. I'm not going to dog on the articulation on the figure. As I mentioned before, you do get some weapon storage with Thrawn here. So you're going to be able to stick the blaster pistol into the holster. That sits in there very nicely, and it does actually pass the shake test. I was kind of concerned when I first placed it in there with how loose it was that it wasn't going to pass the shake test, but it does. And then of course you can put his blaster pistol into his right hand, and that sits very nicely in the trigger hand there. You can see the trigger finger fits into the trigger guard very nicely, and it's going to also pass the shake test when it's in his hand. Just to give some basic poses here is a nice little easy pose of Thrawn holding the blaster pistol outstretched ready to fire. It is also possible to pose Thrawn with him kind of looking like he's drawing the blaster, which is super cool. I love poses like that. And again, there's not really many action poses you're going to be getting with this version of Thrawn. I like the way that the hands are shaped on this figure, so it's kind of multi-purpose how you can pose him. You don't have to have that just be a trigger finger hand. It can be a lot of different gestures, which is great. And just for a quick comparison here, on the left we have, this is the Lucasfilm 50th Archive Grand Admiral Thrawn, and then on the right we have the Grand Admiral Thrawn that we're reviewing today. They look very similar. It's just, I think this one is a much better live action interpretation of what this character would look like. And this one is still, I do appreciate it. This one's going to live on my Rebels shelf as he has. The colors on the live action Thrawn are a lot more subtle and a lot more realistic to me. I like that the tones are a little bit cooled down, and I think it's going to look awesome on the shelf. And here I thought it'd be cool to build a little bit of a scene here with my Thrawn in a one-legged pose. He's marching down the hangar of the Chimera, I imagine here, with the Captain Enoch and Night Trooper from that recent Walmart exclusive 2-pack that came out around the same time as this figure. These guys look awesome together. Can't wait to get some more Night Trooper variants in the future to flesh out this scene. Overall, I'd say definitely get this figure. Like I was saying earlier in the review, some of the articulation is a little dated to the 2024 standard. However, I still think this is definitely a figure worth adding to your collection. It's a great appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's very versatile. You could put him with an Imperial display. You could stick him in a Rebels display. There's a lot of places this guy could fit. So I think that getting him for your collection is a must. And with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. Make sure to check out my social media, all of which is linked in the description below. That's going to be all for this review, guys. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.